There have been many anime that I have watched in the past that have affected me in some way. Whether they affected me positively or negatively, all anime has made me feel something. This anime that we will discuss today, on the other hand, has made me feel something that no other anime has felt before. That anime is Death Note. Death Note is one of the best anime/manga ever made, in my opinion. The nagging cat and mouse game that ensues during it is one of the best things that I have seen, not only in anime, but fiction in general. The characters are so smart, and the writing is even more smart. The music is wonderful, and everything about this masterpiece of an anime is astounding. Yes, even the second half. Let me explain further. Oh, and spoilers for Death Note, if for some reason you haven't seen it yet. The story of Death Note follows Light Yagami, a highly intelligent high school student who despises criminals and wishes to make the world a better place. This wish was granted one day when he came across the aforementioned Death Note, hence the name of the anime, Death Note, which was dropped by the Shinigami or God of Death, Ryuk, who is just the bestest boy, oh my goodness. Together, Light and Ryuk begin to kill criminals, and Light takes his first steps in creating the new world that he wants to see. He begins killing criminals, and initially, it goes unnoticed. Then slowly, over time, more criminals begin to die, and this gets noticed by the Japanese police, and this is when the main conflict starts. And this is also when a massive kink will be thrown into Light's plan, the introduction to the man known as L. For starters, L is an absolute mastermind. He is definitely as, if not more intelligent than Light, and that is how he became such a formidable foe. From the beginning, L had it all figured out. He had already placed who Kira was always one step ahead of him, and overall played the role of a dangerous cat with an equally as dangerous mouse. The way that L would see right through Light's plan was amazing to watch. Every new plan that Light would come up with to somehow top L would already have it locked down and solved. This cat and mouse game is the perfect example of when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. Both Light and L are insanely smart and are able to predict each other's moves even before one another makes them. Their minds and ways of thinking were so smart that it even made my brain hurt. There was a time that even I thought L was going to win outright against Light. That is, until Light outsmarted L in one of the best plot twists I have ever seen in fiction. L's death was one that caught me totally off guard. To see the cat being taken down by the mouse was something that I was not ready for, and I don't even think L was ready for it. L's big mistake was leaving the Shinigami Rem on her own. She played a very key role in this story as well. Well, at least she did until she just up and disappeared. She was ultimately the one to take L's life, and I was not expecting Rem, of all the characters in this show, to be the one to end L's life. And after the death of L, I and Light both thought that he was in the clear. He had practically won. All that was left was to get rid of everyone who knew that he was Kira, and he would have his new world. What he did not expect, however, was there to be practically another L. The introduction of Nier and Mello was an interesting one to say the least. I have heard many people voice their disdain for Nier, saying that he's simply not L. And for one, I don't really understand this argument. It is stated in the show that both Nier and Mello are both successors to L. So how much closer to L do you want someone to get? Many people also wish that the series would have ended after L's death, but that would have been so much worse than the ending we actually got. We wouldn't get to see Light's new world, the story would feel like it got cut off suddenly, and the Kira case would have just been left unsolved. I really enjoyed Death Note's choice not to make Nier just another carbon copy of L. L is more focused on the task at hand, while Nier just sits there and plays with his toys. L loves to eat sweets, and Nier, as I said, enjoys his toys. I would not say that Nier is more intelligent than L, but he is damn close to it. Both Nier and L go about the investigation in very similar ways, and they are both always one step ahead, even toward the end of the story. We may have thought toward the end that L had lost against Kira, but I would say that L ultimately won in the end. At the climax of the story, Light gets cornered and outsmarted and ultimately reveals that he is Kira. To say that I did not expect this to happen would be an understatement. I had always thought that Light was going to be the one that was always one step ahead, but I did not take into account just how clever Nier was. The way he was able to switch the notebooks was some of the smartest stuff I have ever seen in a show. Nier might have been a successor to Light, but in the end, I can safely say that L won overall. He knew that Light was Kira from the moment he met Light, and I just think he needed the evidence to be 100% sure. In the end, I feel like Light met the fate that was always going to come to him. Many people see the ending as uncharacteristic of Light, to go insane at the end of the story, but I think it is totally normal for him to act this way. Over the course of the story, Light was constantly winning. He was constantly having the water flow his way, and he was used to outsmarting people. So when he ultimately got outsmarted, how he acted in his final moments seemed entirely right for how he would act. He had not been outright convicted as Kira, so when that happened to him, it makes sense that he would act insane. This world that he had been trying to build for 6 years was falling apart, so Light's outburst makes total sense. Also, he had gotten shot, so I think even the most calm people would have been shaken up by that. Overall, in the end, L was the ultimate victor. Light put up a fantastic fight, but overall he was just not smart enough to outsmart L, Nier, and Mello, and every other person who fought against Kira. I believe that Ryuk writing Light's name in the Death Note at the end of the story was the most fitting end for Light that we could get. The creature who gave him the Death Note was ultimately the creature to take it and his life away. I can think of no better end to a fantastic villain than the one Light got. Sure, we did not see the bad guy win, but I do not believe that Light needed to win this one. He had already gotten support for Kira all over the world, he got rid of many criminals, and made the world as peaceful of a place that he could before his time came. That is a win in my book. So, yeah guys, that has just been my thoughts for Death Note. I literally finished it like a couple hours ago, and I just needed to write my thoughts and opinions over it. I really hope you guys just enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed just making it. Death Note is one of the best anime I've ever watched. Ever, as I said. And anybody who has not watched it, please go and watch it. I promise you will definitely not be disappointed. Unless you are disappointed by the end, in which case I respect your opinion, but in my opinion, your opinion is fine. You were expecting I was going to say your opinion is wrong, but your opinion is fine. You know, I can see how people don't like the ending and how it just totally switches gears from how it used to be to how it was at the end. But I think the series ended on a very, very good note, and even though we didn't get to see Light's new world, we did get to see it for a time, and at least we got to see it for a little bit, and it might not have been the world that Light wanted to prosper, but I think in the end, Light got what was coming to him ultimately. So, with all that said, I have been Racer, and thank you for listening to my virgin rantings once again. Bye guys.